Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us for our webinar today, How to be a Data-Driven Organization with Power BI. Before we get started, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items. So all callers will be muted. If you lose your internet connection, you can reconnect using the link that was emailed to you. Or if you have to drop off early or you want to watch the webinar again, we'll be hosting the website on TechSoup.org/community/events-webinars, and we'll also be sending an email with the presentation, the recording, and any relevant links. If you're on social media, feel free to tweet at us at TechSoup using hashtag TSWebinars, but for the majority of the webinar we'll be checking the Q&A box that you see on the left-hand side of your screen. So just a little bit about TechSoup. We are located in 236 countries and territories. We partner with several technology organizations like Adobe, Intuit, Microsoft, Symantec, and several others to make our mission possible. We provide free hardware, not free, sorry, discounted and donated hardware and software to nonprofits around the world. And we also offer several other things like tech consulting, technology services. We try to provide a lot of free information and resources and several other things. So you can see those here. Before we get started, I just wanted to do a quick poll and get to know the audience a little bit. So it looks like we have just shy of 100 people on the webinar. So I would love it if all of you could just answer this question. Do you have Power BI already? So I'm just going to give you guys a couple seconds to answer. And it looks like we have about half of our attendees that have responded. So if you could all respond, that would be great. Okay. Okay, so it looks like a majority of you do not have Power BI already. And so for those of you who do have Power BI, I'm just curious to know, did you guys get it from TechSoup, from Microsoft, or from somewhere else? So I'll give you guys a few minutes to answer, or a minute to answer that. Okay. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now, and I want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay and that you can use the chat box. So if you don't mind just typing in where you're calling in from, and I'll read a few of them out just to make sure that you can hear me. All right, so we have Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Seattle. Okay, perfect. So it looks like you guys can hear me okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make introductions. So my name is Seema Tucker. I'm the Senior Manager of Content here at TechSoup. We also have Cameron Jones, who's the Vice President of Solutions and Services. And our main presenter today is Neetu, and Neetu is the Account Manager Specialist for the Cloud Solution Provider team here at TechSoup. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Neetu because we only have about 30 minutes today. So.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining in today's Power BI webinar. Today we will be discussing the following topics. What is Power BI? We will be discussing on how to create basic reports and visualizations, and understanding the differences between free Power BI desktop products and the Power BI Pro license. We'll also learn how to download and install the free Power BI desktop product. And at the end, we'll go through how to obtain your Power BI Pro license through TechSoup. All right, so let's get started. What is Power BI? So as you can see in the market, there are lots of analytical tools over there, such as Tableau or Looker, etc. Power BI is a similar business analytics service model which is offered by Microsoft. It offers some data cleaning and data wrangling capabilities similar to Excel. You can transform data into stunning visuals and share them with your organization and with your colleagues on any device. Using Power BI, you can parse through your donor data with ease. You can also create reports that you can share with your donors seamlessly with most up-to-date data. And you can have this created with strong visuals. You can also transform the way your nonprofit tells your story by converting data insights into a timely and world-changing action. So in this slide, I have picked two examples of nonprofits that have used Power BI to display their data and to make a social impact. I highly recommend that everyone who is going through this webinar check these links in these slides when the slides are distributed, as Seema mentioned. Two nonprofits that have used Power BI to display their data using beautiful dashboards and visuals in such a stunning manner are WaterAid and the Pact Charity. So WaterAid is an international organization that is established to provide people around the world access to clean water, safe sanitation, and hygiene education. They use Power BI to monitor data across different geographies and themes. Also, PACT is another nonprofit that specializes in ending poverty and marginalization and has been using Power BI to measure and to showcase their progress over time. So to get into depth a little bit more about it, you can see in the next slide a quick example of how PACT, a nonprofit, has been using Power BI dashboards. As you can see over here, PACT has this particular dashboard which I've displayed on the screen, which shows different countries, and it has been measuring health by each countries. And you can also see that they are at the bottom of the screen, they are measuring health of these countries based on their age, people's age and gender for the past 7 years. This particular dashboard is very dynamic in the sense if you click on the left side through any of the countries, you can see that the data will mimic for data for those exact countries. So for example, if you click on China, it would show you the data, health accessibility based on age and gender for China. So I highly recommend again that you go through these slides once these links are provided to you from these webinars. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go through a short demo to create basic reports and visualizations. Please note that this demo is played off of a YouTube link that I created. If you are having trouble viewing or hearing this demo, please know that you will get this YouTube link from SEMA distributed right now and also after this presentation. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let us get started with the Power BI demo. Currently, I have the Power BI desktop open on my computer, and I have a new blank file open in front of me. So how do we start creating visualizations? For this, we would need to load our source data first into the Power BI file. For this demo, let us work with GDP for various countries. I already have a file saved in my desktop, so let's take a look at the Excel file. I have this file open for everyone so you can see the data in the file. Let's say my manager wants me to produce a stat column chart for the countries with the top 10 GDP. I would want to produce this as efficiently as possible using the Power BI desktop. Sure, I can do this in Excel as well, but the process will be longer and less efficient and would not work with huge amounts of data set like we have. With Power BI, we can make this process painless and within seconds. Okay, as you can see in this Excel file, we have all the countries as a column and their GDPs in separate columns. Please note that this is just the sample data for the purpose of this demo. Okay, so let's get started. Let us go back to the Power BI new file and get this Excel file into the Power BI. How do you do this? Very simple. You simply click on the Get Data button and select the Excel option. You want to import it. Very first step. The next steps would be cleaning your data. We are now presented with a navigator which shows the Excel file. The name Sheet 1 here indicates the tab in the Excel file. So let us click on Sheet 1, and on the right-hand side, you can see a preview of your data. You are now presented with two options: load your data or edit your data. For the purpose of this demo, let's go ahead and clean the data a little bit before we load it. So let's click on the Edit button. Once you click on the Edit button, it should take you directly to the Power Query Editor, which is where you can perform your data cleaning. So currently, I see the headers listed as column 1, column 2, etc. I apologize for the overlap in the column headers. Okay, so clearly I do not want to show the report with ambiguous titles such as column 1, column 2 to my manager. So let's go ahead and change this. What I see in the first row after the headers is what could be the actual names for these columns. So let's go ahead and make this as our headers, which is what would make sense. How I do this is simply click on the Home ribbon at the top, and towards the right you can see the option Use First Row as Headers. So let's click on that. And now you can see that the top rows have now been changed to meaningful titles. Towards the right side of the screen, you can see the steps applied as we go. Okay, so now you can see this column over here, which is country or CUA specific notes. We do not need this column, so let's go ahead and remove this. These steps are similar to what you could do in an Excel, but the power or the win here is that I could automate this report in such a way that if my manager asks me for an updated top 10 countries in the future, all I need to do is update my Excel file or change the path of my Excel file to the latest data set, and I do not have to repeat these steps again, and it can be done within a couple of minutes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and remove the column using this little button here called Remove Columns. And let's look at the remaining titles or the remaining columns. Again, I apologize for the column overlap. You can see this last row over here, which is also not necessary for this demo, estimate start after. So let's delete this as well using the Remove Columns button. Now, if you're familiar with Excel, you will have a brief idea of pivot tables, which is what I'm going to demo now. So you see the year columns here with the GDP values. I think it would be better if we change the year to subsequent rows and have the value of each year displayed in the same row. Let me demo this. I'm going to select all the years by clicking Shift and then going to the Transform tab. So let me select all the years over here and click on the Transform tab and click on Unpivot Columns. There you go. Right now the column names are displayed to attributes and values. Let's change it to something. Right-click the column attribute and locate the read option. And let's change that is better. And the next column with values, let me change it to GDP. So again, right-click on the value button and click on and now let's look at the year column. The year column has a button which says ABC, which means it is right now a text column. Let's go ahead and change it into number format for this demo. For this, simply click on the button that says ABC and change it to the whole number. You can play around with date fields as well, but to keep this demo short and simple, let's go with the whole number field. Okay, so now everything looks great. Let's apply the changes. For this, you go to the Home ribbon and then click on Close and Apply Changes. And now your data is being loaded into the report view. Okay, now we are back in the report view. Here is where we create these visualizations. Let us first look at our data model. To do this, we simply change from the report view over here to the data view on the left-hand side. Now we can see the different columns. Let's go ahead and change the country column over here. The reason we want to do this is because we have countries in this column, and Power BI has great visualizations for country-specific data, but we have to tell Power BI that these are countries. So let's go ahead and do that. Simply click on the country column, and in the modeling ribbon, click on the data category. Right now, this shows us uncategorized. Let's go ahead and change it to country or region. It looks like nothing has changed in this view, but if you see towards your right, you can see a globe symbol appearing next to the country column. So now that's done, let's go back to the report view. Okay, now per my manager's requirements, let's create a stack chart. Simply click on the stack chart option on the right-hand side, and you should see a tile appearing. You can move this tile around and place it anywhere, but for this demo, let me make it bigger. Okay, so now let's start creating a visualization. So my manager wants to see GDP values. So let's select that from the field section on the right end. Okay, let us drag and drop it to the values in the stats column. Let's pull this GDP into the values. There you go, your first simple visualization. But we don't have the countries or the years, so this data does not make much sense. So let us bring those values in. Again, go to the field section, bring the year into the axis field. There you go, so much better. But I'm still missing something. We have the GDP for all the years, but what about the countries? So let us bring in that field as well. And let's put into the legend
President field. Okay, so here we have the visualization for the GDP for all the countries for the years from 2016 to 2023. But this looks like there's too much noise. And remember, my manager wanted just the top 10 countries' GDP. So now let's go to the filter section. It should be at the bottom right over here. And then let's select the country section and then click on the top N. There you go. Now let's type 10 into the field here, and we need this by GDP. So let's drag and drop the GDP to the by values field and click on Apply Filter. My data is much more cleaner now. Now we can change the color of this visualization by clicking the Format tab on the right-hand side top. Once you click on this, you can simply click on the data colors, and let's change the grays into some other color so that it's not as confusing. And let's change the red to purple. There you go. So much better. Now we can either turn the data labels on or off. I prefer it off because if you hover over each bar, you can see the values. Okay, so now I'm pretty ready to present this to my manager. But let's make it a little more attractive. Let's create another visualization on the side. So let's make this smaller and then simply copy and paste the existing visualization and drag it to the side. So now, wouldn't it be nice to have this shown in a world map format? So let's click on the tile and click on the map button on the right-hand side. There you go. You have a map format now. Now we have the wheels over here indicating all the years. If we do not want it this way, instead just display the sum. Simply uncheck the year button from the field menu. Let's go ahead and display the names of these countries by going to the Format area. We can now turn the category labels on. And now you can see the different countries over here. Let me expand this so that you can see it a little bit better. There you go. Okay. See how well Power BI is interactive in the sense if you click on a country, in that page in the map, you can see that all the relevant bar chart area is highlighted. All right. And that's the end of the visualization demo. I think my manager will be pretty pleased with this. Let's go ahead and see how to distribute it to him using a Power BI service. Simply go to the Home ribbon and click on the Publish button on the right side. As you can see, I have a couple of workspaces I have created here. Let us select the Power BI demo and click on Select. Now it's publishing to the Power BI service. Once you see the success message, we can go to the Power BI service. Okay, now we see the success message. Let's go to the Power BI service. You can see that I'm logged in to my Power BI service. And in my workspaces, I am in the Power BI demo workspace. Now click on the report view, and you can see the report we have created right now. Now let's open it up, and then you can see the exact same report over here. It is also interactive in the Power BI service in the sense that if you do click on a country, just like I showed you earlier, it does reflect in these bar charts over here. So let's go ahead and share this with my manager. I do so by simply clicking on this Share button over here and entering his email address. I can choose the options to allow him to share and send the report to somebody else, and I can also select on the option to send email notification to him once I send this report. And that is pretty much it. And we have come to an end of a very simple Power BI tutorial.
All right, so the demo is over. So now Let's go ahead and go through the overview. I apologize for the sound issues, but as Seema mentioned, this would be available as a YouTube link, which you can listen to later. So going through the overview of the demo, what we learned today is having your Excel file ready to load into Power BI and how to load the Excel data into Power BI by clicking on the Get Data button in Power BI Desktop. We also learned how to edit your data and how to clean your data using the functions such as delete columns, pivot columns, rename columns, etc. Once we have done all that, we simply drag and drop the visualizations as we saw in the demo, and then we publish the reports. So going over to the next slide. Now, since you guys saw the Power BI Desktop license and the Power BI Pro license difference, we will go over these differences. Now, Power BI includes both downloadable desktop programs and a cloud service, as you saw. Where we publish it is to the cloud service, and they offer different but overlapping capabilities. For the Power BI Desktop, as you saw, this would be a free version. However, the Power BI Pro service would be of $3 per license. I believe retail value of this would be $9.99. The desktop version is only Windows. It's only compatible with Windows. However, the Power BI service is multi-platform. Power BI Desktop does offer data wrangling capabilities. However, Power BI service does not offer this. You can create data visualizations and reports in both desktop and the service. However, you cannot create dashboards or share reports using Power BI Desktop. You can only do so using Power BI service. For both Power BI Desktop and the service, you have to use a business email address. So free consumer email address like gmail.com or hotmail.com will not be accepted. What will be accepted will be a .org or a .edu or some other non-consumer email addresses for both Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service. In short, if you want to massage your data for analysis or combine data sources or perform some data cleaning actions or reshaping tables, Power BI Desktop is the only option for your data modeling. However, if you do want to create dashboards and create visual summaries of your data using one or more sources, and you want to share your data analysis with your colleagues, you will need the Power BI service. You can start by working with Power BI Desktop and take advantage of its data cleaning capabilities, and then publish your data or report to your cloud account. And then you can create dashboards that way and share your work with your colleagues. Now we'll see how to download and install the free Power BI Desktop product. So as Seema mentioned before, these slides will be available and these links will be available for you for later use. So you can download your free Power BI Desktop from the following link on the screen. Once you click on the link, it will take you to your Power BI or the following page, which is displayed on the screen. And you simply have to click on the yellow button which says Download Free. Once that's done, your Power BI is downloaded, you are prompted to run the installation file. You can either run the file right away or save the file if you're in a rush and run it at a later point in time. Once the Power BI Desktop is installed as an application, it runs on your desktop. Once it is launched, you will see a similar screen, but before this you will be prompted to fill out a form and answer a couple of questions. Some of the questions will be what is your first name, your last name, your company size, etc. And once that is done, you can sign into the Power BI service. You will have an option for either trying the Power BI free or by signing in. Even if you try the Power BI free for a 60-day trial, you will still be prompted to enter your work email as I mentioned before. No Gmail address or any of the consumer addresses would be allowed. Okay, so let's go over how to obtain your Power BI Pro license through TechSoup. We do offer Power BI Pro license through TechSoup for $3 per month per license. In order to get your Power BI service at a nonprofit price, your organization does need to be an approved nonprofit. And my colleague and I have done a webinar before in this series on how to get nonprofit Office 365 subscriptions. So I would highly recommend you all go over that link as well. The link will be emailed after this webinar. So once that's done, once your organization is deemed as a nonprofit from Microsoft, you simply go on to cloud.techsoup.org and purchase your licenses that way. It should be a tile which says Power BI for $3 per month. Now we'll go over the resources which Cameron will now be assisting from now.
Hi, everybody. Learning more about Power BI, we have a variety of resources at TechSoup to help support your organization learn about Power BI, use it, support it, understand it. And the first of those is a series of 3 data kind of related services. Organizations often have data in various repositories across their organization, which they need to pull together. I know at TechSoup we have data in a couple different places, so we're always looking for ways to pull it all together. So we have a service that will help organizations, a kind of a consulting service that helps organizations understand what database options are available to them and help them select the most appropriate option for their organization. Sometimes it's just Excel. Sometimes it's something much more complicated, sort of depending on what you need. We also have a service that will help set up Power BI for your organization to do the visualization, so to link that database to the Power BI tool that will and get all the different data points set up so that you can go ahead and start using it. And then we also have an ongoing service that will support your organization in ongoing tweaks to those dashboards, maybe updating certain data points that you're tracking, or creating data reports for your annual report, for your next board meeting, that kind of thing. So if you don't want to or don't have the bandwidth to have an individual inside your organization be in charge of managing all of your data visualization, that's something that you can outsource to us. Additionally, we have TechSoup, in the TechSoup courses catalog, we have one course on Power BI with the Power BI Bootcamp. It's $10. Gives kind of a basic overview of Power BI and helps get you started in using the tool. Additionally, Microsoft has some Power BI guided learning tools that are, or courses that are available on the web, and those are free. And we will be adding more courses, I know, in the coming month to the TechSoup courses catalog on Power BI and on data visualization in general. So check those out, and we will be here to help you in any way we can.
All right. Thank you, Neetu and Cameron. So we're going to go ahead. We only have a couple minutes left, so we're going to move on to the Q&A. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A chat box, and we'll try and get them answered. If not, during the webinar, we'll try and follow up with you afterwards. So our first question is for Neetu, and Beth is wondering if Power BI is compatible with Mac.
All right, so good question, Beth. It looks like Mike Yeaton, who is helping us in the back end, has already answered it, but for everyone out there, I will reiterate. Power BI is desktop only and it runs only on Windows, but but it does work with Macs with Parallels. And I will ask Mike so Mike has also posted a good overview of Mac options with a link in there in the chat.
Okay, perfect. And we have another question coming in. So what is the cost of desktop and cloud solutions?
All right, so as I mentioned before, the Power BI desktop will be free of cost. Anyone can download it on their computer. However, the cloud solution, which is the Power BI Pro license, would be at a cost of $3 per license per month.
All right, perfect. So it looks like we are actually just a minute away from time, so I'm going to go ahead and close out today's webinar. So thank you, Neetu, and thank you, Cameron, and thank you, Michael, for helping on the back end. If you guys don't mind, we have a post-event survey. Any feedback that you have for us really helps. We're also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Feel free to give us a follow. And then we also have the TechSoup blog, which is blog.techsoup.org, where we post a lot of helpful tips and tricks. And we also, as Cameron mentioned, we have TechSoup courses. So one course that we have is the Power BI Bootcamp. We do offer 10% off your first course for any webinar attendees, and we'll send out this code once the webinar is over in case you're interested in signing up for that course. We have a few webinars coming up. So we have one this Thursday on cloud computing. We have a couple more towards the end of the month on QuickBooks. And then we have one on volunteerism at the end of March. So we hope that you guys can join us for that. Again, I would like to thank you guys for staying on with us. And thanks again, Neetu and Cameron and Mike for helping out, and to our sponsor, ReadyTalk. And we hope to see you guys on the next webinar.